Can you share a story of grace or challenge from your history of active involvement?
Grace or challenge? Oh, these questions don't get any easier, do they? I guess there have been a lot of small graces throughout my involvement in the various ministries that I've had the pleasure of being involved in. Whether it's somebody from the youth group coming up and thanking me for running, the youth group, or someone after Mass coming up and saying, the way I read, touched them or made a difference in the worship for that day. So there's been a lot of little ones. When we were in, one of them I remember specifically was when we were in pre-Cana out in Rochester, New York, and one day Martha and I might have even been Christmas time, walking through the mall, and this young couple came up to us all of a sudden, and it was, "Hi, how are you?" and great, and I had no clue who these people were. Come to find out, they had attended one of the pre-Cana sessions that we had done, and they had since gotten married and just had all this excitement, and it just was touching to see that they remembered us, and that that had meant a difference to them. So that was a grace. Again, seeing that feedback and realizing that you've made a difference in someone's life. It's important. When we lived, actually one of the big ones was when we moved to England. We moved to England. It was November, and we moved into this house, which I had looked at, which was a beautiful family house, and we moved in on a dark, dreary day in English weather, actually. And we'd flown overnight, everybody was tired, and we opened the door, and it was like, what have I done? But, we survived through that first couple of days, and we found the local parish, Our Lady of the Rosary, and we went to Mass that first Sunday. And as I said earlier, I think we stuck out, because as soon as we said our first amen, all the heads spun around and looked at us. But after Mass, they had tea in the rosary room next door, and when we went over there, and people just came up to us and welcomed us, and all of a sudden, all of the tenuousness of the situation changed. It was just so welcoming, and it just reminded me that's what parish life should be. That's what community should be. Somebody invited us over for tea, and that afternoon we hadn't got our shipment, so we didn't have the high chair that we needed for Victoria. They had us over, loaned us the high chair, and we just became very close with some people very quickly. And as I said, I think that's what parish life and community should be. It was so welcoming. I like to think that being involved somehow that maybe I can be that welcome for somebody else who's might be to our parish for the first time, or even somebody that's been here for a long time, and just be able to, in some small way, help their faith journey. So a lot of little graces I can certainly remember.
Do you have any words of advice or inspiration in closing?
Advice or inspiration? I guess probably the one thing that I'd want to say is jump in and do it. Probably the most satisfaction I've gotten being involved has been probably the times when, without a little of encouragement from somebody else, I might not have been involved, like pre-Cana. If Martha hadn't just gone and involved us, it's probably not something that I would have chosen to do. But again, we just had such a great time doing that, both in Rochester and in Lowell. A lot of great experiences, and met a lot of great people doing that. I guess, as I said, in most cases, even as I said, when in Sacred Heart, the first time that I involved for CCD, I sat there for months probably, listening to the plea, and I'm not sure what finally hit me, but I said, geez, maybe I can do something. wasn't something that I had originally planned to do or particularly wanted, but I really, I like to think that I made a difference, and I think that's probably the biggest message I would have is if you don't think you can do it, you'd be surprised. And most often what you get out of it is even more than you put into it. So jump in and help out would be probably my words of inspiration. Don't be afraid.